Hello and welcome to the formal review. Today, we will be having a very special episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the formal review. This is episode 49, and I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. This episode will look at my Oscar predictions. Now before I get started, I do want to preface this episode with a slight spoiler warning for all the films that I have seen. I will do my best not to completely ruin the film for you, but as I always say, I do suggest that you see the film before you hear what I have to say so that you fully understand everything. But if you do not care about that, keep listening. This year marks the 92nd year of the awards, and while there are still people who do not watch these ceremonies, I am not one of those people. I always watch them, even with no host, and its length. I think that it's nothing really compared to The Irishman, so a few hours on a Sunday evening is not that bad. So anyway, what I always do each year is watch all of the nominations for Best Picture, Director, Actor, and starring and supporting roles for both men and women. So, starting like they do on the show, with Best Supporting Female Act. The Academy nominated Kathy Bates in Richard Jewell, Laura Dern in Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh in Little Women, and Margot Robbie in Bombshell. Now this category, I'm a big fan of Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit. I thought that was one of her best performances this year. I would not be disappointed, however, if Kathy Bates got it. I thought she did really well. And also Margot Robbie in Bombshell. But personally, I'm really rooting for Johansson here in Jojo Rabbit. So the nominations for Best Supporting Male Actor are Tom Hanks in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins in The Two Popes, Al Pacino in The Irishman, Joe Pesci in The Irishman, and Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, a lot of people are pushing for Brad Pitt here. I think he did do a good job, but I also thought there was a little bits at times where it was more his character, more in his acting. I thought he was very pushy for it's just Brad Pitt. I think Tom Hanks was a lot better. I thought he definitely engrossed the role a little bit more. Anthony Hopkins also did a really good job. Al Pacino and Joe Pesci, I think they also did well, but I don't feel too tied into their characters. I thought they did very well in their respective roles. However, Joe Pesci I thought was just the same as he's always been in like gangster films, and Al Pacino wasn't screaming to me that this is a really good role. I didn't feel that he was Jimmy Hoffa. I just thought it was Al Pacino. The nominations for Best Starring Male Act: Antonio Banderas in Painting Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver in Marriage Story, Joaquin Phoenix in Joker, and Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes. A lot of people are pushing for Adam Driver here, and also Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, I'm actually not really on either of them because I don't really think that they dove into their role. Yes, Adam Driver does have a really good scene in Marriage Story, but it's not, in my opinion, the best of the best. Antonio Banderas, I think, really does go into his character, but I think that film's a little too artsy for a lot of people to really appreciate, so I'm not gonna say that he's gonna win that. And a lot of people have Joaquin Phoenix does a really good job as the Joker. I think he really dives into the role more so than a lot of other people did. At the same time, Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes, I think, also does a fairly good job. He learns different languages to speak as the character, and I think that really made me feel that he was actually part of the Cardinals. So to pick one of the two, I don't know, it is kind of difficult. I think, honestly, a little bit more, I would say Jonathan Pryce, really, I liked him just as a character more. I think he did a phenomenal job acting, but that's not to say that Joaquin Phoenix won't win it either. I think he did an amazing job as well, but I would say those are definitely the top two. So the nominations for Best Starring Female Actor is Cynthia Erivo in Harriet, Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan in Little Women, Charlize Theron in Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger in Judy. I personally think here that there was definitely a snub for Awkwafina in The Farewell,
and Lupita Nyong'o in Us, and also Florence Pugh from Midsummer.
Should have been nominated, but having said that, some of the people on here I think are really strong. I think Cynthia Erivo was very good as Harriet Tubman. Scarlett Johansson did play well, but I don't think that's her strongest role. I thought she did very well at showing her emotions on screen, which is more than a lot of her other films. But aside from that, I wouldn't say it was Best Actor material. Saoirse Ronan, I would say the wrong the same lines. I don't think this is her strongest role either. Renee Zellweger, I think as Judy, also does a very good job, but I think my main issue with her, unfortunately, is the act when she's lip syncing, because that, to me, again, as I said in my review, that when you're playing one of the best singers of the 1900s, you should kind of look like you're singing. So I felt like she's definitely the weak person in this entire role. I think she does not deserve it, honestly. But Charlize Theron in Bombshell and Cynthia Erivo are my top two. But I would say Theron should win that because she really felt to me like the real person. So like I said in my review, that I forgot it wasn't Megyn Kelly at times. I thought that was so great.
Voting isn't just going to the polls anymore on Election Day. Options like early voting, mail-in voting, and ballot drop boxes are available to more voters and are growing in popularity. How to Vote is a tool created by Democracy Works, and it breaks down the options your state offers by forecasting a ballot, empowering you to decide where and when to vote. Democracy works best when we all vote, but misinformation and confusion about election procedures have resulted in low voter turnout. How to Vote takes the guesswork out of the voting process. It is easy to use and helps folks from all over the country overcome many of the process barriers to voting. It is committed to helping you vote no matter what. You can use the How to Vote tool to sign up for election reminders, see what's on your ballot, get step-by-step assistance requesting your mail ballot, explore your options for returning your mail-in ballot, check your voter registration status, and find your local polling site, and make sure that you have an appropriate ID to bring with you. Decide when and where you'll vote this year at howto.vote.
So Best Director, you have Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, Todd Phillips for Joker, Sam Mendes for 1917, Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Bong Joon-ho, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, from Parasite. I'd say there's a snub here of Marielle Heller for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I thought she did an excellent direction. I wouldn't say she would have won, but I would have said she deserved to be nominated. I would say now, I don't think Scorsese deserves it for The Irish. I think this is not one of his best films. It is good, like I said in my review, however, it's not his best. Todd Phillips is a Joker. I do think that film was very well directed. Every shot and every point in that film was trying to tell the message. Quentin Tarantino, this is one of his worst films in my opinion. I think he could have done so much more with this story that it didn't really work well. And then Sam Mendes in 1917, I thought obviously did a very technically an amazing film, and I loved the style with it. Now with Parasite and Bong Joon-ho, I think that film was very, very good as well. It's hard to say which one I would say I think deserves it more. Honestly, I don't think Todd Phillips is going to get it for Joker. If he does, I'll be surprised, but I really liked him. So I really think it's between Sam Mendes and Bong Joon-ho. But I think that it's very clear here that the best director should go to Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. I mean, I thought that film showed its message extremely well through the cinematography, the actual story, and its characters, more so than anybody else here. So now the nomination for the most important one, which is Best Picture. So you have Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. And I would say there was a snub here for the other films that I rated 5 out of 5.
Now, I'm not going to go into why I don't like a lot of these films. I think that I cover that a lot in my reviews, but I mean, looking at this, I think that obviously Ford vs. Ferrari does not belong here. I don't think that was very impactful. And looking at honestly impactful here, my main thing when it comes to Best Picture, I think the main impactful films are obviously 1917, Joker, Parasite, Jojo Rabbit, and maybe Marriage Story. And all the other ones, they were well done, but they weren't that great. I definitely think that if you're looking at these, the best ones here are definitely between Parasite and Jojo Rabbit for me. Joker is definitely the number 3 out of them. And I think Parasite probably can be the one that wins, but I am also pulling for Jojo Rabbit as well. I think that was also a very well done film, and if Joker wins, I would be very surprised, but I would be happy with that. And 1917 is definitely close too, but I don't think that's going to win based on characters. I think the characters in Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Parasite were much better, stronger messages on those 3 films, and which I think is what brings a film its definite positive aspects. And that's what my predictions are for the Oscars. I could be wrong. I've never had a perfect year, but we'll see what happens.
Tune in next time for episode 50, where I give you my top 10 films of the year. Now, what did you think of the films that I saw? Let me know. Hit me up on social media. The Formal Review is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The URL is all the same. It's at The Formal Review. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and I appreciate you all listening. I see the numbers, and I'm really thankful for you all. So you don't miss the next episode, please subscribe to your favorite streaming service. The Formal Review is on Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, and much, much more. It's pretty much on any service that holds podcasts. In addition, I always want to grow and improve. Please leave your review on your favorite service. Feel free to also tell me what you want to hear and a film that you want me to review. I do this for you all, and I want to keep this entertaining. Each pair of ears that you give to this podcast allows me to continue. For those who have supported me on a financial basis, I really appreciate the fact that you supported me in that way. For those who want to give financial support, please go to anchor.fm/the-formal-review and click support this podcast. Any donation is really appreciated. As with every episode, I do have music in the background. I do not own the rights to this music, but I put it in there to show support to each film's score. This is an important part of the film and can really bring the film audience into the film's environment. This episode's music is from each film's original soundtrack. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Formal Review. We hope you'll join us again.